Hey, welcome to the channel. Today we got the Coleman 125 is back. I am working outside today. Couple reasons. It's a beautiful day. I know the sun is starting to come through the trees here, so the lighting might be a little funky, but you know, we don't all get to work indoors all the time. Plus my shop is filled with stuff and I just don't feel like pulling it all out. So that is what it is. Now this bike has been on the channel before. We've done maintenance, we've done repairs. I've showed a lot of things to, you know, if you have this bike, you know, or a Tao Tao 125, a Chinese quad in general, they're all pretty close to the same with little differences. And a lot of things are just not quality, not at all. And all the maintenance and things that I've done to this bike, if you were to tell me like in the beginning, this is what you're gonna deal with, when I bought it brand new, I would have been like, hard pass, I'll spend twice the money on a Honda, Yamaha, you know, or finding other used little 80 quads, stuff like that. You know, just the Japanese brands. But here we are, this is what we got, this is our world, and we're gonna continue getting this bike right and sharing the info. So we're gonna go over a little bit of maintenance today again, just because it's got some hours riding on it, probably around the 10-12 hour mark, and that's usually about the time I really like to try and get back into them and really go over them thoroughly. We also have another new issue. The pipe completely separated from the silencer. We're gonna put on a new silencer. Got this off of Amazon, about 25 bucks. It's a cute little thing. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. Do have to kind of zip cut it. I also follow up on the homemade airbox that we made out of a little piece of Tupperware. That is holding up better than expected, actually. And if you're curious on what I'm talking about there, you can go back in the videos and check that out. And I think there's one other thing I want to show you with the chain, just because the tensioner kept coming loose on us. And I don't know, that's kind of what we're doing today. We're outside, like I said, deal with the lighting a little bit. I'll try not to make too many faces. And let's just get back into the swing of this. It's been a while since I made a video. And let's go. Let's get to work. So to bring you in a little bit closer, here's the silencer, here's the pipe. You could see it just, you know, just a crappy weld and it just broke off. It's not like it's rotted or anything like that. And we're gonna have to loosen this nut. That'll pull the silencer off, and then we're gonna have this to deal with. So this little lip, we're just gonna have to zip cut that off. And then the other one, we'll just slide over top, and then hopefully we'll be able to clamp it down tight enough. I don't really know. We will see as we get here. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Chinese parts, Chinese replacement parts. This is just the crap you deal with. So let me take this off, cut that. So it looks like a 10 millimeter. No. How about, it looks like a 12 millimeter. It looks like a millimeter. Come on. How did the 10 not fit that? Yeah. The sun in my face, I can't see nothing. Oh my God, give me an extension. Yeah, that's amazing. What a piece of junk. But it's my piece of junk. So we will have to tighten that, but we'll keep that loose for right now. All right, now let's just cut that off. Just give you an idea, I'll mark it. little something like that. Now don't forget to wear your eye protection. I forgot. Yay. Maybe I should let the compressor fill up first. Now, is this gonna work? It'll kind of work. I'll have to really squeeze it. It's not quite big enough. So we're just gonna have to pinch these ends in a little bit. It's got little relief cuts in it to help squeeze it tighter. Well, this only came with a little hose clamp, literally a hose clamp to help squeeze this nice and tight. So, I'm just not believing the hose clamp is gonna hold it, but we'll find out in a second. There's no way that hose clamp is going to hold this on. I need something else. Yes. Okay, I have a solution. So what I got here is basically like a little exhaust sleeve. I had a spare one for my 250R, and we're going to use this to go on one end of this and then the other on the pipe, and then we'll use 2 clamps, and this should do it. Maybe. We'll see. All right, you gonna work for me? Let's make this a little tighter. Probably too much. Okay, all right. I think I might squeeze it. We're gonna get here. The sleeve on this one. We'll throw this down here. We're winging it here, but we'll get it. We'll get it. It'll be good enough. It'll work. That's what good enough means. Let's make sure it's angled right. Okay. Bring this one up. So I'm going to try and utilize like 1 clamp to help seal it, 1 clamp to clamp it, I think. I don't know. I may have to completely redo this. Wow, that's actually locking down a little bit better than I thought. That's really tight. Huh. I was not expecting that, but I also have that really tight. Okay, now we'll get the little, comes with this little strap, a little rubber seal. You know, they're trying. It's, of course, way too long, but okay. So you're going to want to go flat side on the inside, let the groove side hold it. It's going to hold the clamp here. The ears are going to go flat to each other around the pipe. Try your best to make it look good. And then we'll reuse the factory bolt. And massage it into place here. All right, I think I'm gonna have to. Of course you gotta do other things. So, I have the pipe too far down. So, and it's hitting part of the frame. So let's just loosen all this again. Let's go with something right around there. Let's see if I could do this. All right, now let's see if this will fit. Okay, now what I do have to do is loosen this again because it's not straight. And I don't like that. So we'll clamp it on, get it closer at least. Yeah, this will definitely be a trial and error. So I might have to actually throw a little spacer in there, but this at least looks good. Where I want this looks good, so we'll tighten these. But I think I need to throw a little spacer up top. So this way that tightens up. Let's see what we got. Be right back. So I do have a little spacer. This is from a universal sway bar bushing kit. They become very handy. Where I'm going to put this is right in between, right there. So this way I can clamp nice and tight and hold this, because if not, it's gonna keep moving and it's just gonna do other crap. It's always a little trial and error, but this is how we keep making this bike better. You know, I mean, I could sit there and just be like, ta-da, it's done, but it's never that easy. No matter what people try and show on video, it's never that easy. So does this fit through it? Oh my gosh, it's like it was meant to be. A little creativity. Wow. So there's the two clamps. That's going to squeeze all that, keep the exhaust gases inside there, help push it right through the tube. Here's the clamp. You can see the rubber bushing. The lighting's a little terrible, but you can see the red bushing right there in between. Again, that's just from a universal sway bar bushing. Usually you find on the rack at like AutoZone or something. So there's the pipe from the back. Looks pretty good, got it pretty straight. It feels tight. This does a little bit of movement, just something we may have to just deal with. But that'll also keep from anything else from breaking. I don't think that's going to be a problem. And then we'll go up here. We'll come up here and we'll tighten these a little bit. Just a little bit. There's one on this side, one on the other side. Looks like a 10 millimeter. We'll just snug that up a little bit just to make sure that that is tight at the head. Oh yeah, look how loose that is. $10mm gone. All right, now I'll just snug up the other one. Yeah, let's work outside. Let's work in the rocks. Yeah. All right, now that exhaust is nice and tight. The exhaust is done. So now that the silencer's done, the exhaust is nice and tight. I hope it sounds pretty good. We'll fire it up at the end here. But when you compare this stock silencer to this new one, I mean, this has got a little weight to it actually. And when you compare the two, big difference. So this, A, was welded like crap, but B, I'm sure once whatever started happening, the weight of this, even with that bolt in place, it just puts a lot of stress on stuff. Completely just poorly made. But it's this new one's about half the weight, if not more than that. And it looks a little better too, I think. But we're gonna forget about that now. I'm gonna bring you around over here to the back. So right here, that bolt right there, and this one right here, that's all part of adjusting the chain. So this one I've never had a problem with. This one over here, I have replaced this, well, I've replaced it once and continued to tighten it. I mean, you can see right there, that was just hand tight. I've done Loctite. For some reason, it just seems to vibrate itself loose by the end of the day. So one thing to check on your bike is make sure that these are tight. If not, they're falling off. I mean, we have had bolts fall off of this bike, so that's not surprisingly new. But what I am gonna do, this side is threaded. So we're gonna rerun this in, and then I'm gonna put a nut on the other side with a nylock. That's a little nylon lock in there. Put it on this side, and it should act as like a double nut, and that should not back off anymore. Our chain is good. I'm happy with where that's at. It does definitely need some lube, but that feels pretty good where that is at. So we're happy with the adjustment, but this is just a repair that I recommend you keep an eye on. So I'm gonna put a little bit of anti-seize on it because I'm not 100% sure if, I don't think it's a stainless steel nylock. I don't know. I pulled it out of one of my little bins that I just have a bunch of freaking nuts in, and you know, the spare parts that happen after certain jobs. So we'll get the one side tight. I'm going to tighten this side first. So this way it's tight in the chassis. See how it's spinning? So now that is tight there. Now this is going to be locking it in place. And this should not come loose again. Except for when I want it to. So yeah, now that's nice and snug. So a simple little fix right there. All I'm doing is adding a nut on the other side of the other thread. And that would be as if this was a nut and this other nut, and then they're tightening against each other, and that would lock it in. So this has to come loose, then this has to come loose, and it's got a nylock on it. There's not a lot of threads through it, but I know it is at least starting to go through that nylock, and that should be enough to hold this. We will keep up on that. And then down here, it looks like these are also a little loose. So I'll get them tightened up. So now that I showed you that little chain adjustment, swing arm adjustment issue that I found, while I'm back here, I like to take a look at everything else. Give her a little shake, make sure nothing is feeling loose around the center bearing, make sure the hubs are tight. You could take it up off the ground, throw it on a jack stand or something if that helps. Look at your brakes, look at your rotor, the chain. This chain is going to get some spray on it, the shock. Make sure everything is as it should. It's very simple. You just visually are looking for something that isn't right. Even if you're not an expert, even if you're barely into the novice, and this is your first bike, and you've never looked at anything like this, you're just looking for something that in your brain goes, uh-oh, that doesn't look good. Make sure your bolts are tight. One way to check that, put a wrench on it. Make sure everything's snug. It's not too difficult, but it is definitely something that can save you a lot of time and headache, because I'd rather be here having the headache, sitting in the sun, making a face at you, than out on the trail while my son stands here and stares at me, and I'm staring at this, and I'm trying to fix it. So the idea here is to do the maintenance now, fix what you can fix now, so when you're out there, you're having fun. You're safely having fun, and it's a good time. So now lubing the chain, I just take a jack stand. Doesn't have to be 3 ton. Pretty sure the bike is a little bit less than that. Just put it up on it. Make sure it's not gonna fall, hurt yourself. Whole idea is so we can spin the wheels. What I'm gonna go with today, I like this stuff. Super slick stuff, not sponsored, not paying me. Maybe I'll edit this out. But I like it. So it doesn't attract a lot of dirt and it's cheap. So let's see if we could do this. So I spin the tire, give a spray. Be easier if I had 2 hands. Spin the tire, give a spray. Plus this stuff smells like lemons. So I get a little nasty dirty with it. I like the chain nice and lubed. You know, and this stuff does not attract a ton of dirt like some chain lubes do. I've tried many different ones. I still don't have one that I absolutely love. But we'll give this one a shot for a little bit. And just work your way all the way around. Real simple maintenance. That feels pretty good. Just make sure the chain alignment is still going good. Look straight. Covering up some of our wiring. All right, let's move on to, let's go check out the front. So now on the front of the bike, I'm listening for anything that sounds odd, sounds weird. Give it a shake. Look at all your bushings. Make sure nothing is moving up and down. We don't want that. Bumper's tight, suspension sounds pretty good. We do have grease fittings on the front end. They need to be lubed. They need to be filled. Like I said, this is my 10-ish, 12-ish hour maintenance. Shaking the front end. We don't want to see any movement here going up and down. Or there. Your tie rods. Same thing for the other side. All of it should be stiff. You know, flexible but stiff. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what we want. And we're just looking. These are the grease fittings. The way I like to handle a grease fitting. I just push it in, little pin. You can see that grease still looks pretty good. So see how we have a little bit of grease starting to come out? That's about where I'll stop. Let it push out a little bit of the dirt, but that's about it. And then you just repeat that on all of them. So I like to try and clean up as much grease as I can, because all that it does is it attracts the sand and the grease working against metal. You know, it's a grit, so it's going to be wearing things out. Clean off all the excess to a point. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but we're just trying to prevent a little bit of extra wear and tear. So now up in the front, to check your front pads, make sure that they're doing good, we gotta get this front end popped up, pop off these front tires, because you can't get in there enough to see it. What's squeaking over here? So that's just my tie rod. Maybe I could put a little bit of that slick stuff on it. Where are you at? Okay, it's a little better. See, works for everything. And we're just going to look in between, just like we did in the back. And we want to see the condition. We're going to look at the rotor. So you can see right there, right in between. You see the rotor spinning? You're looking at the pads on either side. And we're probably like the same thing. I did all these brakes about the same time. But the front brakes are holding up pretty good too, at least on this side. And we'll check the other side. And I'd have to say that's probably maybe about 60 to 70% left. Everything feels good, hub feels good. We got a little bit of movement right there. And I don't think it's enough for me to worry about at this time. So we do have a little bit of movement, but nothing too severe to worry about. We'll keep it in mind for the next service. All I did was spray a little bit of that slick stuff right in here, right in there, on the tie rod. I want to make sure that that's tight. You know, is that necessary? No, I just got rid of a little bit of the squeak. Again, this is just visual checks. You know, all these nuts and bolts, everything looks tight, but I recommend that you yourself keep an eye on all these. All this comes loose. I've put blue Loctite on everything. And it's a little tedious, but it's something I highly recommend. All right, we'll put this on, we'll check the other side. We're gonna pop the seat off, and we're gonna do the air filter. Now again, like I said in the beginning of this video, if you're still hanging around, who is we? I haven't seen, it's always just me. I and we used a little Tupperware and made an airbox for this because we were hitting puddles and the bike would just be blah, done. Spark plug get wet and that'd be it. So came up with this little design. You can go back in the videos on this playlist and you'll see it. It's I think it was along the lines we changed the carburetor out too. But check out that playlist. And if you're gonna go do that and you're liking where this is so far, subscribe, thumbs up button, leave a comment, let me know what's going on. It has been a while. I said that in the beginning of this video. It has been a while since I made videos. We'll see, let's try and get a little momentum going. But I'm gonna bring you in closer. You can take a look at this and see how it's holding up. So here's our little setup. It's just a little, I think it was like a 4.5 by 4.5 piece of Tupperware. That's a Nibby air cleaner. You can see how dirty it is. I mean, you know, the bike's been ridden. And but it's doing the trick. The bike is running good. It's still pulling in air. It's still doing its job. We just now have to do what you do with an Airbox and an air filter. Service it and clean it. Now we're just going to clean it all up. And that air filter is actually, this air filter is actually not too bad. I'm going to hit this with a little bit of a cleaner, and then we'll get oil on it. So it's just Uni foam filter cleaner. Spray it on. What it does is it helps grab the dirt. I just let it sit for a little bit. Takes your breath away. This is kind of like the outside dust filter. Just helps collect some of the bigger particles. So you can see it kind of like brings the dirt to the top. I just kind of rub it in. And then I rinse this. I rinse it with water. You know, you can just replace them if you want. You can clean them. I don't mind cleaning them a few times and then I'll replace them. This is a Nibi or Nibby. It's a B. A Nibi filter. I guess he wanted to give me his opinion. So rinse them, let them dry, then I'll hit them with the foam oil. And you know what? While that's doing that, we'll change the spark plug. So part of the problem with owning too many quads and stocking parts is you tend to mix things up. So I have an NGK 4549 or CR7 HSA. That's the plug replacement for an NGK. This, what is in it, is a super light. You know, I mean, really, you can find these at Home Depot. But I'm going to show you right now. Let's see if you can see it. So we have like a bronze burn on the electrode there. That looks good to me. You know, maybe a little on the rich side on the bottom end of the throttle, but running wise, that looks really good. I'll take that. I'll say the tune is looking really well. Does this have to be replaced? Right now, no. That's actually not bad at all. I may throw this under the seat, so in case we have it get wet or something like that, we'll have something to replace. We'll check the gap. 0.25. Well, that's definitely why you got to check it. So out of the box, 0.25. In the bike, like at 0.16, 0.17. Now I got to find out. Hold, please. The gap on this is wrong. So the one that was in the bike is actually wrong. It should be gapped at between 0.24 and 0.28. So the one out of the box is more accurately gapped than the one that was in the bike. That may have been my fault. This is where I'll say we fix things. So the reason I'm gapping the old one is just so we can leave it in the seat in case we ever need it. So I'm gapping that to about 0.25. It's still a little too much. All right. So the old one is properly gapped. I'm a little surprised of that. You know, maybe I bumped it putting it in. Or I know I've replaced it. Alright, so this is an 0.25, 0.26, that's right in the spec. We will screw this in. Yeah, or maybe when I replaced this, I didn't check it and I just went off of what the one that I pulled out of it was and just matched it that way. We'll go with that. Don't tell the boss. Once it snugs up, it's usually about right. Maybe an 1/8 turn, snug, 1/8 turn, call it. Make sure you put the plug back on because if you don't, it's not gonna start. Drain plug back in here. Now for oil, going with 1040. It's about 700 milliliters, or it is 700 milliliters of oil it takes. 3/4 of a, 700, it's about 3/4. 3/4 of a quart. If you want a little bit more in depth on the service on this bike, go check out the video on doing a tune-up on the Coleman. That'll probably be a little bit more detailed, maybe something that you're looking for. And we'll see from there. Screw the dipstick all the way in. That's how you actually know. Looks pretty good. Just want to check it one more time. I guess what else could we check real quick? We did the chain, we did all that. Filter, spark plug. Let's, I guess we'll check tire pressure. And we'll see if she starts. See if we have another problem. And clean up all these damn tools. Oh, we should just kick that now. Turn on the fuel. Fuel on. Make sure it has gas in it. Yep. Gas smells good. So I know the idle's going to be a little high off the gate because, again, when that pipe broke, whenever my son came to a stop, you know, it needed a little bit of that back pressure off the line. So I just cranked up the idle a little bit, and then, you know, the bike was fine for us to run for the day. So it may idle a little high, simple little turn the dial, come back down. Oh, it started without a choke. So that pipe sounds pretty good. It's got a little throat to it. Once it warms up. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. So this bike, you know, in the beginning of owning this bike, I had so many problems getting it to start. And I mean, the bike's been sitting now for probably, I don't know, this whole summer we haven't gone quadding. So let's just say a couple months. And you saw that, it fired right up. And that's because the carb is tuned. You're keeping up on the maintenance, yes, blah, blah, blah. I'll keep saying that over and over and again. But really, that's the carb setup, the carb tune. And if you're having a lot of problems getting your bike to start, especially after sitting for a little while, you're gonna have to change the carb. This Nibby, there's a video on that too. That has been a great carb. I really can't argue it on this bike. I may try it on another bike in the future if I need a carburetor, just give it a shot. But that's what makes this bike actually run. And it's really been great. So that sounds pretty good. I like that little silencer on there. Bring the RPMs actually up a little bit. She's still cold. About right there. She comes down pretty well. I'll still play with the RPM. She's still pretty cold. But there you go, guys. I want to thank you for subscribing. The channel is growing. I really haven't put a lot of videos together recently. Again, you know, life just kind of takes over sometimes. I really enjoy doing this. It's fun to share. Especially like, you know, things like this bike right here. I mean, I know a lot of people are going through headaches with these Chinese quads and you just want to have fun. Your kid's small, they're going to be moving up the bigger quads in no time. And you try and be cheap. And, you know, cheap always tends to bite us right in the ass. So it's just a little put together video here to kind of get myself back rolling, get back in touch with the community here, and show a little more work done on this bike. I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate you watching. Please subscribe, leave a comment below. Let me know if you got one. What are your troubles? What's going on? Let's share. You know, this is a community. And yeah, I don't know. I'll see you on the next video, I guess. So thanks for watching.